Entitlement reaches all walks of life, as you'll find out in this episode of Entitled People. Our first one is from Muses X9. Context: in-laws have a vacation home an hour and a half away from all of our primary residences. This home is divided into two sections, their home below, and ours is on the second floor. My husband is one of two children and we pay all expenses, maintenance of boat, electricity, water, taxes, etc. On to the story. I've been sick for a week. I fell asleep on the outside coach because I needed to sleep sitting up. It was horrible trying to sleep sitting up, so I was exhausted. Around 4 a.m. I woke up and, missing my bed, went back to my room to snuggle with my husband. Of course, I had a little bit of a tough time getting to sleep. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, I was knocked out. This bliss was temporary. Less than 4 hours later, I'm startled to see my mother-in-law laughing like a sneaky child at Christmas to wake my husband up with caresses. I stared at her shocked, and her explanation was that she had a bad dream about him. She had heard me at 4 a.m. and knew I had gone to my room to sleep, but felt entitled enough to wake me from 4 hours of sleep. In our apartment, in our bedroom. I told my husband that I was beyond pissed. I told him that we need to pay more rental-wise so that she doesn't feel entitled to pull this crap. Her obsession with my husband is real. You would think after 35 years, she'd get over not having her baby at her beck and call. It's a known joke amongst everyone, including the younger sibling who is resentful, rightfully so. Husband thinks she had a moment of insanity and I need to let it go. I think we need to pay rental money so she doesn't feel entitled since she owns the house. The fact that the mother-in-law just feels entitled to, I guess, not offer you or your husband any form of privacy just says it all. Maybe if you do pay more, you can put into some form of a contract or something like that you're entitled to your privacy. This next one is by VTH2. Hi, this is a story from one of my mother's friends. She lives in a private residential complex. This is something similar to an HOA in America, but not exactly. This is a number of houses, possibly built on the land of a single person, with a walled enclosure, and they can be accessed through a main gate. People who buy houses there usually have to pay some money monthly to the residential complex administration. I live in one of these, but we don't pay anything because there's not such organization in the complex where I live, because everybody hates each other and can't organize. These residential complexes are quite common in my country. My mom has a friend who lives in a private residential complex in my city. She told us once the story about a Karen who was the president of the complex administration. This Karen would constantly harass the homeowners for the monthly payments, and everybody hated her for that. The thing is that this Karen would give specific instructions to the security guards on the main gate to not let in any owner who have a delay in payment. Yes, she expects the owners to pay on time or wouldn't let them get to their homes. Also, wouldn't let anyone in after 10 p.m., no matter if they are up to payment or not. My mom's friend had a daughter in school. One day, the daughter came back from school, but when she got to the main gate, there was Karen, and she would not let the child in because the mom had a 1-day delay on payment. The child ended up going to her grandma's house until the mom could pick her up and take her home. One day, everybody was tired of Karen, so they gathered and took the entire gate down, leaving it free for anyone to come in. Also, they were preparing to sue Karen. I don't know what happened next, but I think my mom's friend moved out somewhere else, even since. Talk about letting power go to your head. I don't know who this Karen really thinks she is. I mean, apparently she thinks she's somebody super important that she can impose her will onto others. I mean, honestly, who holds a child accountable for their parents? Oh wait, that's right, this Karen. I really hope she got sued and lost. This next one is from So Damn Sleepy. So, a few years ago, I bought the old car from my dad. He bought a new one and mine was on its last wheel. Since I am comfortable with the car and knew my dad was the only owner, I bought it. Note, I'm very stupid and thought he changed the title into my name, but that never happened. It's not a pickup nor a van. It's a minivan with a big trunk. You can get loads of stuff in there and even sleep in it if you count to the smaller size like myself. Anyway, since I still live at home, they use my car like it still belongs to them, and I've told them many times that I don't like it how they use it, but they'll get mad and say I don't do anything and can at least lend them my car. Sometimes they ask, sometimes the car is just gone and I can't go to my friends like we planned. When I say no, they'll get passive aggressive and start guilt tripping me. After everything I've done for you? If my sibling or friend needs larger stuff moved like a shelf or so, they use my car. Bought new tires, a fridge, a washing machine? They use my car. My sibling and their drunk friends need to get picked up from a party? They need my car because it can fit 6 people in it. Doesn't matter that they called it ugly before and would never ever drive it. If there's garden waste to dispose, which car do they use? Exactly, mine. They try not to make it dirty, but it still gets dirty. But what bothers me most is that afterwards it stinks like manure and has insects in it. I pay for gas, insurance, and all the other stuff. My dad does repairs, but does he in every other car of my mom's or siblings? And of course, I pay for the parts and give him money, but it's still not my car. I'm very attached to my belongings and treat it well. It doesn't matter what it is. Since I was a kid, my parents always forced sharing on me. Wouldn't mind letting my siblings or cousin play with my toys if it was my decision, but getting the toy ripped straight out of my hands and wasn't allowed to complain because they would say how selfish I am, and then getting a destroyed toy back is frustrating. This car is my biggest and most expensive belonging. It's an older model without much technology in it, and I like it that way. I don't want a different car, so I try to treat it well that I have it longer. Yes, I'm sentimental about it. Today I had enough. The following story broke me and I started crying. My aunt called and demanded that my mom drives to her with my car to help her with a carpet. My mom asks me. I say no. Aunt gets all pissy and angry. Why? First of all, Aunt has a car, but it's currently under repair. She knew about the carpet since 2 weeks, but suddenly it's important to her when her car is at repair. Second, the carpet isn't that big. It comes in pieces that fit in a regular car. Third, they have more cars than the one that gets repaired. They also have a trailer. They kept pressuring me and I couldn't anymore. I started crying. Why is it always my car? Why can't I have that one thing? My siblings gets to have 2 cars in their name and no one uses these except them. I said if I ever buy another car, I'll get the tiniest ass car on the market so they can't exploit and use it. Despite the fact that I feel unsafe in such small cars. My mom just stood there watching me cry. I love my car, but I hate the shared shit so much. If my dad sold the car to a stranger, they couldn't access it anymore. But this is different because family. I'm so done. If you bought the car from your dad, gave him the money, then he was wrong to not go and have the title changed into your name. On top of the fact that it's wrong for them to still think it's their car because they're effectively treating it like that while disregarding how you feel about your own vehicle that you paid for. I really hope going forward they start to respect what you want and use their own vehicles. This next one is by Hapero Child. I'm not sure where else to post this, solely because my dad repeatedly tells me that he's entitled to know what I'm doing and to follow me wherever I am because he's my father. Since 2018, my dad has been demanding I engage in a relationship with him. He cheated on my mother for her whole pregnancy, ran off with the other woman, and fathered another kid with her, all when I was 2 years old. Then radio silence for 20 years. All of a sudden, he's demanding entry back into my life and that I be a sister to his other child. His words were, "He deserves to know who his sister is." Like, I'm not even allowed to know where you are for 20 years, but this kid is entitled to demanding a relationship from me that I don't even want? Okay, sure, Jan. There have been a lot of precipitating events since then, but recently I'm starting to get worried. I blocked his phone number, blocked him on Facebook, and blocked him on Snapchat. He told me he has every right to contact me because he's my father, and I tell him to eat shit. I was really very clear I wanted nothing to do with him. All of a sudden, he finds me on TikTok and follows me there. I posted about it so everyone who follows me there will know who he is and what's happening in case the situation escalates. I feel like there's no place I can go to on the internet to get away from him. A lot of people in the comments have told me I'm being stalked. I want to report it, but I don't think I have a record of him making threats other than, "I'm your father, and if I want this, then it's going to happen." And without an explicit violent threat, there's technically no crime from what I've read of CA state law. I know this sub isn't for legal advice, but his whole line of logic is literally, "I'm entitled to harass you and make you afraid because I'm your father." Has anyone had to deal with something similar from an entitled parent? I definitely agree with some of the commenters. He's stalking you, maybe not physically, but he's doing it online, and that still is stalking in my eyes. I'm of the mentality if he really wanted to have a relationship with you, he would have been there 20 years ago, and not just now because your sibling wants to have a relationship with you. And our final one is from Paradigm Fusion. Well, I've just been witness to a new low. Okay, so I see a homeless guy panhandling at the Hobby Lobby parking lot entrance, so I decide to get him some breakfast. I buy it, flip around, and as I'm stopped at the light, I hand him his food, which he's super grateful for. Then all of a sudden, some fucking Karen starts blaring her horn, yelling at me, "Don't buy them food! You're only making them want to stay!" She then starts yelling at the homeless guy, "You should throw that away! You didn't work for it! You don't deserve it!" Then the light went green and we both pulled out, and she hits her gas and pulls in front of me just before getting on the freeway and drives off. What a bitch. The entitlement of people is absolutely ridiculous, and considering this whole situation did not affect Karen in any way, shape, or form, she should have kept her big fucking mouth shut. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled People. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.